Ah, Iceland. We've all seen the pictures, right? These epic, mind-blowing landscapes. But here's the catch. For most of us, we have a ridiculously short amount of time to see it all. So the big question is, how do you really experience it in just 5 days? Well, we're about to let you in on some secrets that most tourists completely miss. It's a pretty common feeling, isn't it? You see all these amazing photos of glaciers and volcanoes and waterfalls, and you just want to see everything. But in a country this wild, with the clock ticking, you really need a smarter plan. Okay, so let's get right to it. Here's the single biggest mistake travelers make: booking a hotel in Reykjavik and just taking day trips. I get it, it seems easy, but it's a trap. It keeps you from seeing the real Iceland. Don't worry though, we're going to show you a much, much better way. To unlock a truly unique Icelandic adventure, you've got to think like a pro. And there are 3 core strategies that completely change the game. These are the foundation for every single itinerary we're about to dive into. First up, when you land, skip Reykjavik. Seriously, the real magic is out in the countryside, and you can always save the city for your last day when you're close to the airport anyway. Second, travel in one direction. This is a game changer. You take a short domestic flight to a remote spot and then see entirely new landscapes on the drive back. No more hours and hours of backtracking. And third, if you want to go really deep into one specific area, just fly both ways. This turns your precious 5 days from just a road trip into a true exploration. Okay, so with those strategies in your back pocket, the next step is to ask yourself a pretty simple question. What kind of trip are you really looking for? Because the right itinerary for you, it all depends on your personal travel style. Are you a greatest hits kind of traveler? Someone who wants to see all those iconic postcard-perfect locations? Or are you more of an off-the-path explorer, looking for solitude and landscapes that most tourists never even get to see? Let's break down the options for both. All right, first up, let's talk about the greatest hits. If you're looking for that iconic Iceland experience, these are the trips for you. They focus on the must-see sites, but we're going to use our pro strategies to help you see them in a much better way. First is the taste of everything. This one is a whirlwind tour. It packs 3 completely different regions: Snæfellsnes, the South Coast, and the Golden Circle, into one trip. You're definitely going to cover a lot of ground, about 11 and a half hours of driving all told. So what's the vibe on this trip? Well, it's pretty much the Iceland you've seen in all the pictures. You'll get to explore lava fields on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula, see those famous black sand beaches down south, and of course, witness the raw power of Gullfoss and Glacier. It really is the classic tour, but just be ready. You'll definitely be sharing these amazing views with some other folks. Our second option is a more focused trip, the South Coast Drive. So instead of trying to see a little bit of everything, this trip zeroes in on the absolutely stunning Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. The driving time is a little bit less, but its main advantage is actually something else entirely. The great thing about this itinerary is that it's much more budget-friendly. Since it's just a simple out-and-back round trip, you get to avoid all the extra costs of domestic flights or those one-way car rental fees. It's a fantastic way to see the best of the South Coast, but here's the trade-off. Your journey ends at the lagoon, right before you get to the even more remote eastern fjords. But what if you want to escape the crowds completely? Well, now we're going to look at the off-the-path itineraries. If your main goal is to find a wilder, more remote Iceland, these next options are definitely for you. Our first off-the-path trip is called Volcanic Highlights. This itinerary takes you north, trading the southern glaciers for the geothermal wonderland of Lake Mývatn. Now, it is the longest drive we've seen so far, but the payoff is huge. You get to see a completely different, almost primal side of Iceland. This is where you get to see some raw power. We're talking about Dettifoss, which is Europe's most powerful waterfall, and all the geothermal marvels are on Lake Mývatn. You can even visit Húsavík, the whale-watching capital of Iceland. And then, and this is key, you use one of our pro strategies and save a whole day of driving by just catching a quick flight from Akureyri back to Reykjavik. Smart, right? Itinerary number 4 lets you go really deep into the north, focusing entirely on that region around Akureyri and Lake Mývatn. But to pull this off in 5 days, you're faced with a critical choice, one that completely defines your whole trip. So you could choose to drive the round trip all the way from Reykjavik, but that's 14 hours in the car. 14 hours? That just eats up a massive chunk of your precious 5 days. Or, and this is where it gets good, you could fly. Look at that.
This is the magic of using those little domestic flights. By flying into Akureyri and just picking up a car there, you slash your driving time all the way down to just 5 hours. Think about that. That's nine extra hours you get back to actually explore, or hike, or just soak in those amazing nature baths. It's a no-brainer, right?
Now for the true adventurer. Itinerary number 5 explores the Westfjords. This is Iceland at its most remote and rugged. It very cleverly combines a drive through Snæfellsnes, a car ferry, and a flight back, so you can maximize every minute in this incredible untouched region.
The experience here is just pure raw nature. Imagine hiking along these massive, jagged bird cliffs, discovering beaches with red and golden sand, and just standing in awe of the magnificent Dynjandi waterfall. And that actually brings us to a bonus itinerary, number 6, the ultimate escape. It uses the same region, but you fly directly into Ísafjörður and explore from a single home base, cutting driving down to almost nothing. So 2 ways to tackle the same incredible part of the world.
And for our 7th and final itinerary, we've got what is maybe the most efficient trip of all, the one-way south tour. This is the ultimate expression of our no backtracking pro strategy. This itinerary brilliantly combines the best of both worlds. You start with a flight to the Far East, which lets you drive through the stunning and quiet eastern fjords. From there, you just keep going along the famous South Coast, and you finish with the Golden Circle. You get that remote beauty and the greatest hits, all in one seamless, epic road trip. So there you have it. We've just covered 7 completely distinct ways to experience Iceland, from the most popular sites to the most remote corners of the entire country. Now the choice really comes back to you, doesn't it? Are you chasing those iconic waterfalls and the famous black sand beaches? Or are you looking for the quiet solitude of the northern highlands and the rugged fjords of the west? By thinking strategically, skipping Reykjavik at the start, using those one-way routes, and taking advantage of domestic flights, you can create a journey that goes so far beyond the typical tour. You can build an adventure that lets you truly enjoy Iceland like few people ever do.